Run that up, Rico.
Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind, hey. I do not play with my life, wait. I keep protection for mine, you will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine, caution, wait, please do not play with my mind, hey. I do not play with my life, wait. I keep protection for mine, you will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine, caution. Look at my face, pay me respect, please do not play with my line. If you want taste, what you gon' get? Shit that gon' bury your mind. All that's at stake, where is my check? Need every nickel and dime. You play with my face, put you in check, for stopping the vision to climb. They mad that these niggas done woke up and now all our visions to cold. Where is the bag to get us so caught up? Yeah, that is the mission and goal, staying on cold. Some of y'all doing too much, straight up be looking like hoes, never gon' grow. Can't count on you and cuz most of y'all doing the most. Like this is a show, doing it for entertainment, or you're doing it for down, or you're doing it to sit at the table with crackers with words in your mouth. I don't play with enslavement, these are the days of the South. These days we play differently, this is what black empowerment's about. Wait, I said there's no time for no friends. Either you with us, against us, don't switch it, cause one of us die in the end. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on the lens, watching the ops despising the picture cause they wanna see the one end. Hey, caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine, you will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine, caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine, you will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine, caution.
Hold on, wait. See a black man doing great with black-owned businesses, building in a different state. Why you snakes wait late in the grass, plotting on what you can take? Papa, black money in the black bank mean black money is safe, protected, like it's heavily protected. If he ever feels threatened, he go with lead and knock him off his check. Please check this. For the record, he can never be weak. Disrespecting any checking your cheek. Reppin' said he reppin' red, black, and green. Never fall, won't quit. There's no limit to what I do for mine. But you so they don't take them up with the anger for hate up all of my ancestors combined. You wanna get one time? I keep a fully loaded, extended in a fully auto effing to keep you from crossing that gun line. You in violation. I ain't never shot a cave, man. You be the first, I'ma give you this work. You get in the way of my occupation, yeah. Like I'm the boss and I don't like the way that you talking. This is my office, get permission before you walk in. The yellow tape across the door means
Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine, you will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine, caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine, you will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine, caution.
Man, peace to the Maadian family. You just heard a track by our beloved brother Q Butter. He told me that the video is dropping. The video is dropping this Monday, I believe he said. And I know it's going to be fire. I actually played this song for my students today, and they went crazy. They went crazy. And I played it because what I wanted them to understand is that you can make music, right, that has a hot beat and it's positive. I was telling them you don't have to sit there and subject yourself to messages of death and destruction because you like the beat. You can listen to something that is hot, right? Nice beat, great lyrics, great cadence, without subjecting your mind and your spirit to sex, money, drugs, murder, and suicide, right? Because I said that's what you all are doing now: sex, money, drugs, murder, and suicide. I said in my generation, I saw the hip hop change, from the 80s and 90s into the 2000s, and it changed. I don't even want to call it hip hop anymore. I'll just say rap, but I just saw how it kind of changed. The messages went from the 80s, we're dancing, and kind of, in the 90s, it was a lot of the Nation of Islam teachings, 5% of stuff, came out in the 90s, and everything was black power and black consciousness. And then in that 2000s, the Master P started dropping, and even in the 90s, you had Biggie in them, so the messages started changing like the mid to the middle to late 90s. And so I said, we had the sex, money, drugs, murder. You all have the sex, money, drugs, murder, suicide. And they started laughing. I said, I heard about rest in peace, Tentacion and Juice World. I said, you all, your rappers be singing, I don't want to live no more. I said, y'all listen to that type stuff. I'm not subjecting my mind and spirit to that. So they were cracking up, and they loved Q Butter track. I told Q Butter, I said, Q Butter, I gotta FaceTime you on Monday with the class because they loved the track. And I said, see, the beat could be hot, but listen to the lyrics. They're talking about don't play with my mind. Don't play with my mind. Don't play with my ancestors. I rep the red, black, and green, talking about black people owning business, building wealth, and working together. Go back and listen to the track, family. That's exactly what's being said. So shout out to our brother Q Butter for making empowering music. I can't wait to see the video. I want to salute the Maadian family that's in the building. I see our beloved Queen Mother Virgo Venom is in the building. I saw a beautiful mind in the building. I see some new people. GSH Device. It says, I'm here, family. Let's get this knowledge. Black power to you. I see Expect Anything. I like that handle. Expect Anything. It says, salute, Queen. We are in the building. I see Achote Speaks. It says, shalom. Shalom to you, fam. Peace to you, fam. I see our brother Steve, right, from St. Louis is in the building. He says, greetings from St. Louis, Missouri. And I see Tia Thompson is in the building. Family, take a moment out to thumb up this video. You know the way the YouTube algorithm works. The more you engage the video, the more they begin to circulate it on YouTube. And I need all the circulation I could get because they play with my views. They play with my subscriber count. And I'm not saying this is conspiracy. True story. I went to bed one night. My view count was like at 650. I woke up the next morning, it was at 450. I said, how do you lose 200 views? That even happened to me on IG. I woke up one morning and like 200 views were gone. And I actually not emailed, but DM'd one of my young boys who has an IG page, Bicalon. And he was telling me, he's like, Doc, I woke up and 2,000 was gone. So, and I was like, shh. So they do play around with these algorithms, guys. So we need your help to push through the algorithms, right? So make sure you thumb up the video. Also share this video. If you're on Facebook, tweet this link. Let them know that I'm live. All right. Tonight, we're talking about what will empower the Black African community. So tweet this out if you're on Twitter. If you're on Facebook, post a link. If you're on another platform that I did not name, post, tweet, do whatever you need to do to get the word out that I am live. All right. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring on our brother, Q Butter. What up, Q Butter? He done stepped away from his computer.
Yo, what's good, sis?
I'm like, he done stepped away. What's going on with you, Q?
Everything, us, never them. You know that black power all the time, every time.
Ashe. I'm watching what you're doing, Q Buddy. You're doing some amazing things,
Appreciate
in New
that.
York with the Ziax Institute. You have the science fair coming up. Can we begin by just talking about the science fair that you are coordinating, that you're organizing? Let's start there, with that.
Yes, May 13th at the historic Restoration Plaza. We got the whole basement. It's a huge basement, and I'm just really excited. Dr. Maat been involved. Why I want to do it? First and foremost, we need to promote scientific literacy in the community. There are typical like science fairs that schools have, but I want to make this more of a cultural thing where like I might even bring a rapper out, some like people out. I want to make this where like we celebrate our students being involved in STEM. It's open to the community nationwide, however we can make it work. However we make it work, I do want to give prizes and, to all the participants. Dr. Maya gave a good idea, like I try to push as many students to work in groups so we can have as many children come in as possible.
Absolutely.
And be a participant. But again, it's really about promoting STEM, scientific literacy in our community. And of course, making it a cool thing.
Absolutely. And Q, while you were talking about it, like describing it, I was thinking that, I want the people to understand this is not just for the children in Brooklyn. This is for our community. So bring your children, wherever you are in the U.S. If you're on the East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, if you're down south, bring your children. You said May the 13th, right?
Yep.
All day, right, Q? It's going to
Yep.
be all day from
2
what to
p.m.
what?
on. 2 p.m.
2
on.
p.m. all day. Bring your babies to Brooklyn. And so, Q, let me ask you this. If someone says, hey, I have a group of children who want to submit, a science project and they want to participate in that capacity, is that possible?
Yes.
Okay. So
Must be
how
black.
okay, they gotta be black. And
Gotta
so
be black.
they would just hit you up via email and say, hey, I have a group, we want to submit this project, or we want to present while we're there, or not even present, but we want to display our project and be able to talk
Yes.
about it. Okay, so there's something on
Yes,
the
you can go to our website, Zyx the Movement, XYAYX the movement.org, and just go to programs, and you'll see in a prompt that comes up for programs, you'll see science fair. Click on that. There's RSVP. I will have the information detailing the exacts for the science fair presentation itself. I'm open to any presentation, but I really want to keep it around like mechanical, electrical engineering. Like, so anybody
okay.
does want to present, like, you could do whatever you want. I'm not going to keep you on one spot. But there is a little, Dr. Maat is an electrical engineer,
Right, right.
so, shout out to all the electrical engineers, all the mechanical engineers, all the mechatronic engineers, structural engineers. I really in tune with Black empowerment. In my opinion, I'm sure Dr. Maat will back me. We got to, focus in on a specific group of sciences and hone
Actually,
in.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I agree 200% with you.
So that's
Yeah.
but again, it's open to anything. Nothing, no biological sciences, of course, is open to do anything in that field. But we want to make
You want to
something.
narrate, yeah. You want to, and so let me ask you this, Q. I want to mention this because you didn't know I was an electrical engineer. Let's share
Nope,
that short
nope.
story. That was so funny. You
Yep.
said, "I want you to tell the people what you honestly thought." You was like, this chick coming in the community, da 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 da. You didn't really just tell them your thoughts in the
I thought
conversation that we
there's
had
a
on the
bunch of people I
telephone.
met that call themselves doctors and stuff, and so I'm like, all right, this Dr. Maat. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I didn't put it together that how dynamic she was. And she's like, no, I'm actually, doctor in electrical engineering. I'm like, electrical engineering for real? Like electrical? Like not like some pseudo electric universe. She's like, no, at Morgan College, I teach. Work with these doctors, and I work with these people, and I teach this. And I'm like, I'm like, hold on, what? And then from that day on, I've been bothering her since. She gonna be, I don't bother her, but I'm like, once you tell me that you're in, no offense to anybody, but there's a reverence I have for intellectuals, especially in the
Likewise,
physical
likewise.
sciences, and so
Yeah,
it's
it
just an
was
honor.
funny. No, it was funny because you're 100% correct. In the community, I was telling Onk, I said, I've never been in a community where everybody can be everything. You know, you're a linguist, people are historians, people are healers. And I'm not taking away from people who actually are these things. I'm just
Mhm.
saying that I've been in a community, I never was exposed to a community where everybody was an expert in everything. So people were expert healers, expert scientists, expert um uh mathematicians, expert historians, expert everything. And I was like, I've never been in an environment like that. I have my lane where like I can tell you that I'm passionate about history, and I would say that I'm an autodidact when it comes to African history and culture, but I'm an expert in electrical engineering. I've been studying that since 1999. So I have 24 years in that field. So my
Serious.
expertise lies there. You take me outside of that, now you're just getting, my passion and what I may know and what I, may have studied over the years, just being an autodidact. But it was funny because you're right. A lot of people use the title doctor, and then we say, well, where you get your doctor? We start asking, and it's like, they can't come up, they can't produce any paperwork, they can't produce
And
the
then it's
dissertation, the school.
oh, you trying to bring up that white man stuff. I'm like, hold on, bro. Like no, it's all my intelligence here,
Absolutely.
and being able to communicate and know that this person was taught this, so we can communicate at this level, because I know you understand this, you know.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. And it's just, wanting to deal with people who are vetted, right? Like people who are qualified, to teach on said subject. And
mhm.
as I said on your platform the other day, I said, we sit here and say, oh, well, I don't need anybody to be verified, or I don't need any to go through no verification process. And I asked my students this and said, look, would you take your family, on a plane that was flown by a pilot who never went through a vetting process. They watched some YouTube videos. He or she watched a couple of YouTube videos and learned how to fly from watching videos. Would you trust that pilot with your life and the lives of your family members? Then everybody's yeah. So it's important to go through a vetting process. You want somebody to put their stamp on it. Even Q Butter, when I go to the doctor's office, or the doctors, whether it's doctors or the dentist, I look around on the walls at their certifications, Q. Like I look to see who I'm dealing with. What school did they graduate from? Who certified them? Are they certified? So I look for that type of stuff. And I got, tomatoes thrown at me, years ago when I said in order to be certified, you must be verified by someone who is qualified. I never said the person who was qualified had to be white folks. I'm just saying you had to go through some sort of vetting process so that we know that you're qualified to do what you say you can do. So you can teach what you say you can teach. That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. That's all I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. So anyway, let's jump into tonight's discussion. What will empower the Black African community? I want to shout out Baba Amin, who's in the building. The
Hey, Baba,
Uhuru.
amen. What's
Yeah,
good?
he's in the building. So
Man.
peace and power to you, Baba. Baba and I are
Uru
getting ready to
Academy.
collaborate on some stuff too. So yeah, definitely, definitely. So Q, you and I already said it. I mean, we talked about it the other night. What will empower the Black African community? And you and I were talking about this on the phone. And you said, man, you wanted to do this campaign about voting or science, right? Because you were saying a lot of people think that we can vote our way out of our situation. And you're like, no, we need to produce. You actually sound like what the elders and the ancestors been saying. We got to produce our way out of this situation, and we produce via science. So could you talk
Right.
about that, Q? Your ideas of, you said voting versus science, and can you
Mm-hmm.
expound on what you were talking about on the telephone?
Well, it's straightforward. Like scientific literacy will shorten the wealth gap, and it'll increase our ability for sustainability. When I say black empowerment for me means what I teach the students, black empowerment. So we say black power, we're saying black empowerment, and that is teaching and putting yourself in a position where you can sustain yourself, take care of yourself. In today's economy, in today's world, and with any society for the last couple thousand years, science has been the tool to do that. How we sustain ourselves is how we take care, cultivate the ground, how we feed ourselves, how we protect ourselves, how we heal ourselves, all these different things. And so now, fast forward to 2023, when we want to put the money on the line, I personally will not and cannot tell somebody that my vote is equivalent to Jeff Bezos' vote, or Robert Smith's vote. These people
Mm,
empower and they literally employ thousands of people. And so their ability to lobby, in my political understanding and understanding the country, is massively superior to most people's. And if we want to actually get things done for ourselves in any system, we need to have the financial ability to make it happen. And STEM is going to give us that ability. If we increase the amount of doctors, we have dentists, we have engineers, we have structural engineers, we have, mechanical engineers, people that are high level in these fields, and also mix them in with business acumen, more business acumen, management skills, all these different things. We'll be able to garnish a lot more income into the community, which will increase our wealth, of course, and give us the ability to actually lobby for the things that we want and put money into like political payola, however y'all want to call it, lobbying, political payola, extortion, whatever word you want to call it. But we'll have money to be able to play in that club. Right now, we don't have any money, and with the money that we say we have, it's not a production value money to me. So it's
mm,
when they say like Kanye West, with moving one deal was $1 billion short. With STEM, you couldn't remove that. He would have owned the machines, the factory.
mm, mm.
He established the connections. There's something called vertical integration that all people in engineering focus on, where you maximize here. Now that you made the microphone, now let's see if we can focus on getting our hands inside of the components. So
Come on.
and so it's just vertical integration, and that's the business model that every business like why does Amazon have vans now? You know what I mean? Like, so it's literally vertical integration. And so we would be forced to do that, and that's just going to increase our wealth. Our employment strategies will be different, our managerial strategies will be different, our investment patterns will be different, all just because of how we understand STEM. We'll have a fleet of dentists who are telling us we should be investing in this specific machine because every single dentist in America uses this component. We would have that information. We would know, oh, this motor, what is the what is it? Dual coaxial motor. Am I saying it wrong? It's the Mercedes motor. Mercedes just put Mercedes and these other people are putting this motor in their cars. I
Mm,
forgot the
mm,
name of the
mm,
damn motor,
mm,
but it's
mm.
um it's shaftless. You know what I mean? The how do I word it? The walls of the motor spin versus the shaft. And then they use that to turn the shaft, and they put that in all of the wheels. But this is new technology that we have to be involved in. Robotics, cybersecurity. All of these things are going to be coded. And I told my students, and I always have some laying around. This is skillage. I know it's a beat up lock, but this is $300,
Mhm.
right? Home Depot. But I show my students this is nothing more than a 10-cent, 25-cent motor, 3D printed gears, a 10-cent, 12-cent PCB board, all these components. This made less than maybe 50 components. They're all micro soldered. This is what, probably aluminum. I just dropped all the parts on the inside. But it's probably aluminum, or some cheap steel mixed with aluminum. So there's probably no more than $12, $13 worth of parts. Power supply, and simple understanding of gear reduction and basic mechanical engineering skills. And of course, being able to code this, boom, this is an entire industry right here. You need somebody to make sure you got cybersecurity. You got to create the application for this so that the person can put it on their phone. That brings the person that got to be able to read the data and make sure that the machine is working right. Just if we just said we're going to push all our kids to make locks. STEM gives us massive amounts of power, because then from there, we're going to be putting demands on different aspects and stakeholders into the community that's going to force us to put our hands into different lobbying needs. No, we need this,
Absolutely.
so.
No, absolutely, no, absolutely. And I love, how you promote. You've been constantly promoting, science to our babies, STEM to our babies, um, constantly. And so when I had the pleasure of building with you the other night, you were showing us some of the projects that you had going on. Cause
Oh,
so
damn.
Q, I want to see some of those projects. You have
I
any of
gotta
them
run and
lying
grab
around?
them. I gotta run and grab them. I can run and grab
Okay,
them.
go ahead. Yeah, go run and grab them, and I'm gonna address a comment in the chat. So no, Van Varner, no, I'm not mechanical. No. I didn't even like the mechanics class that I took in the early 2000s. I couldn't stand it, dealing with vectors and things of that nature. I didn't like it. So I'm electrical all the way, Van, and with a focus in signal processing, namely language recognition. So that was my focus. So my BS in electrical engineering, and then for my doctorate, I focused on the track I took with signal processing. And as you know, Van Varner, signal processing makes the world go around, right? The reason why we have wearables, the reason why we're on this internet and we have cell phones, the different wearables, speech to text algorithms, right? Voice recognition, Alexa, and all of that stuff. All of that is signal processing. We're at the heartbeat. Signal processing is the heartbeat of the technology that's out here right now. Signal processing. And you find signal processing everywhere. You find it in cybersecurity, you find it in artificial intelligence. Because think about it, how will they recognize what you're saying, or even when you're typing things, taking text and turning it into a signal, right? That's recognizable. So anyway, but that's my area. And you asked the question, you said, where's Q Butter PhD from? I don't think he has one. But I can ask him when he gets back. Okay. But I wanted to make sure that I answered your question. Shout out to my E5 twins. I see you in the building. A BB Fahodie to you. I see Hershey Mirth is in the building. Hold on, let me see what else she said. Black Power, she said. It says, I'm all different. Hold on. I live different TV. Peace to the chat. Peace to you, brother. Who else we have? Night Ish. Says hello, dr.maat.msu butter in the chat room. Peace to you. Says shout out to the Ziax Institute. Yes, Kamoyo Shule African. Yes. I'm glad you mentioned all of these institutions. Family, make sure that you take a screenshot or a picture of the institutions that this brother put on the on in the chat. Okay, Ziax Institute, Kamoyo Shule Africana, Freedom Home Academy, Uhuru Academy. We can't forget Akabin House with Mama Ya Baruti and Baba Baruti. We can't forget the Kamali Academy. So we got to support our African centered, independent institutions. I couldn't agree with you more. We have to pull our children out of the public food system. Like black folks kill me because and I don't know if you're back, Q Butter, because I'm just rambling. Jump in when you can, brother. But black folks, what I notice, you back? Okay.
Yeah, I'm back, sis. I try to grab as much random stuff as possible.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to end in my rant with this. We complain about the problems and then don't support the solution. Peace and love to you, warrior. How are you?
Good.
Got the young Asafo. Got the young Asafo in the building. But that's what we do as black folks. We keep talking about the problems and then we don't support the solutions. None about with the existence of these institutions, and they offer online services. So why are children in the public school system again? And in the public school system ranks 25 or 26 in the world. Okay. This school system is garbage over here in the US. And so I want to shout out to the black parents who are pulling their children out. And we went from, I think they said 6% during the pandemic to over 20% once the pandemic hit, and the number keeps going up. But go ahead, brother Q. I want to see some of those projects that you were showing the other night when we were on your channel.
So yeah, that's the which one is this?
This is the Pratt Truss Bridge.
Pratt Truss. So we start off with structural engineering. So we start off typically with geometric shapes to throw them 3-dimensional shapes. So that's one.
And this is the Wild Bridge.
It is a Wattle Truss. I like doing this one. I didn't go into the houses this year with them. I might compress the curriculum a little differently next year, because from the Wattle Truss bridges, we go to the roof trusses, and show them the king truss, queen truss, and all different types of trusses.
This is the seesaw to show leverage.
Seesaw, show leverage.
Love
so we're
it.
doing
Love it.
now we're into mechanical engineering. The second half of the year. So yeah, these are little projects.
And this is a seesaw to show how
Carousel.
Carousel to show how gears work.
Love it. Love it.
And these projects only cost like $20, $25. So I suggest y'all get these for parents. Keep them messing with them. This is a sewing machine. There's a sewing machine here.
I can't see it, Q. There we go. Yeah, there we go.
So that gets to show them reciprocating motion, camshaft, and how you can get repetitive vertical motion. And this is like when I was showing the girls with mechatronics, you can do anything. Like when you're a creator, put yourself in the mindset where like you need all these tools so you can become a master creator. So if you want to be a cook, I told one of my students, you can create a smart oven with cameras in it and certain type of sensors to monitor the food, and automatically you can have a whole robotic. I said, look, McDonald's is going robotic. Burger King is going robotic. They flipping burgers. And I told them a lot of people argue, and I understand the employee side. But I told my students, I'm teaching y'all to be bosses. And one of the most challenging aspects for a business owner and entrepreneur is employees. All top businesses, the most loss in a business comes from employees. Macy's, they don't like their job, so they're going to steal some sneakers. They're going to steal some stuff. So there's an other side to robotics where you don't have to worry about these things. I was just talking to Sister Mer's daughter today, Shada. I was just telling her, I'm like, look, this right here, who likes to do fashion? You can design your own sewing machine.
Come on.
Like, this is literally, and getting them to see it where like anything you want to create is right here in mechanical and electrical engineering. He went and got the crane.
Love it.
Simple pulley crane. And so this was me today tinkering, trying to figure out how to make. So I suggest the parents, don't get one project alone. Like, get this or let them do it all. but let them figure out. And I make mad YouTube videos on how to create these things with popsicle sticks. And the mechanical one is very challenging because I try to do it to compete with the Indians. So I kind of messed up. And I wish anybody who watches this who is into building stuff and tinkering and making things, please hit me up, hit Dr. Maat up, because I'm always trying to figure this out. So this was me trying to emulate this with the students earlier. Because there's nobody who built a sewing machine out of popsicle sticks on YouTube yet with cardboard. So I
Love
was
it.
almost there, but I made a mistake in the, you see it's crooked. So, my building side, I was going to take it apart, but I was like, oh my goodness. And there's no instructions. I had to figure out and just emulate it. But I was showing the students that is part of the skill set that you develop as an engineer, where you can actually look at something, recognize what's wrong with it, see what's good about it, see what needs to be fixed, and change it, alter it, make it better. And so for me, this is what it's about. I'm introducing these to the students. This is going to be a project that our students are going to be making. I may not make them cheat with this for the science fair because this will be unfair. I know most students don't know about thermoacoustics or Stirling engines. And so this right here is a great project. And for teachers, this literally alcohol, you can show them that, of course, I don't remember right now. Offhand, I'm not the biggest chemistry person. I can teach chemistry when I'm teaching it and I got my notes in front of me. But when I'm not
I
teaching
don't blame you. I don't blame you. I'll teach physics before I teach chemistry.
I'm like, I gotta remember all these damn. Oh damn, why don't I remember? I'm sitting here trying to remember alcohol's thing, but that's a good thing for them to show alcohol when it's inflamed. They got some regular little pieces of Brillo in here. This is a regular syringe tube under vacuum pressure, and then so from there you can. And this is actually moving because of sound.
Mhm.
And so the resonance inside of here is pushing in, creating a vacuum. And also you can show momentum, angular momentum, because as this pushes this over, this flywheel, the reason why it's so large is because it wants to add that extra force, that torque, to turn it over and push the piston back in. So this is a great thing to show. And then when this is running, you get to show the pulley. Then from the pulley, this is a simpler one which just has a pulley to a DC little motor. Then it shows how from this pulley, you get to turn mechanical energy into electrical energy, and it turns this light emitting diode on. So this is a great project. Like you get to connect all parts of the sciences literally with this one little project. Oh, my son going in.
He brought another project. He
Yeah,
brought
he bought
another
the house.
project.
This is the other house. So this is
I
the
love
teach.
it.
This is an 8x8 house that we used to do, and we still do this one here. And the reason why I also like this one, because with Tinker, you get to teach them the X coordinate with this one intuitively, where they can understand where is 0, 0, 0 right here. You see, and the
Beautiful.
dimensions here, 4 positive, 4 negative, 4 positive here. So they get to understand in a very intuitive way. And
Beautiful.
from Roblox, they understand how to rotate it. And with Tinkercad, we introduced Tinkercad into the curriculum, which all of the kids love it. And so they get to be able to go from this project or some projects like this and creating it on Tinkercad, be able to look at it in multiple ways. And I said this yesterday on the stream I was on.
Mhm.
Everybody talks about building, and I stress listening with building because listening gives you the ability to understand perspectives. And anybody who does building will tell you the importance of perspective. So
Absolutely.
this is a 2x2 floor house that they build. It's beat up. It's been on the wall for a little while, so don't worry about that. But the kids made this one last year, or I made it with them, or whatever. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we got the mansion that they make full, like we go in with it, and it's really extremely fun. But again, it's to show them the foundation of these sciences and to compete. This right here is an electronic playground kit. This was recommended by Elder a long time ago. When I found it, I kind of bought all of them out. So you
Mhm.
probably won't find these anymore. I got a closet. I mean, they were only $30. And so I literally bought all of them. And these are really great because, they get the children to get introduced to basic circuits. They got 30 different ones on here.
Love it.
Oh, nobody saw that.
No, it's
30
cool.
different
Cute.
ones. The manuals, they'll tell you, Dr. Maat will tell you, you got to get familiar with the science until you can hit somebody up like Dr. Maat up or anybody who's, heavy into the fields. Or if not, then you got all right, bring it in. He brought the next one.
He going in. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the people in the chat, they're like,
Slide this
they're
way.
going crazy.
So
They
yeah,
love
we
it.
slide this way.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I want
And
to.
see, and see, brother Q, I want to say this as parents, right? And I know that you're an educator, you have your own school, but as parents, we have to stop putting foolishness in front of our children. Okay. I just want to say that one more time for the listening audience. We have to stop putting foolishness in front of our children. Okay. What is the foolishness? The toys that they're going to play with for a week, maybe, and then is in the trash. It's not even in the trash, it's in the closet queue. You know what I'm talking about, in a bin in the closet. They don't play with it. So we shower them with a whole bunch of junk, a whole bunch of junk during their birthdays or during the Christmas or Kwanzaa, junk that's not going to do anything for them, family. We need to be putting things in front of them that's going to stimulate their thinking, stimulate their creativity, right? Things that are going to foster certain skills. That's what we need to be doing. And this is not just me saying this. Read Dr. Amos Wilson, Developmental Psychology of the Black Child. He has an entire section devoted to toys, and he talks about the importance of us being very selective with the tools, the toys that we put in front of our children. So instead of putting them on a game, and I know some people may be mad at me. Oh, Dr. Maya, here she goes. She always talking about that PlayStation. She always talking about that game, right? Here she go. Check this out. If they want to play a game, for me, I would say, let's monitor the time, because sometimes those games can be very addictive. My students are telling me sometimes they're playing Fortnite and 2K for 12, 13 hours, right? But instead of putting that in front of your child, won't you buy them an Arduino STEM kit, right? Because with Arduino, they can learn how to create their own video games, right?
Yep.
So instead of being consumers and looking at the TV and spending money to download games, get an Arduino kit, an Arduino STEM kit, and learn how to create your own video games. Get them on microbit.org and learn block coding, and they can create their own games online. See, that's the mentality that we should be pushing onto our children, not the consumer mentality, but the producer mentality. I want to say this, Q, to you. When I was listening to you, I heard Booker T. I heard Booker T. Washington when you talked about controlling the industries from the top up, from the bottom up. That was Booker T. Washington. He called it independence through industry. That's what he said. And so Tuskegee Institute in white folks' minds thought it was an institution. It was vocational school where blacks were going to go there, learn some skills. They can go and work for some good old white folks, right? And apply those skills. No, Booker T. Washington, what he did was he created an institution where we can go and master industries from the bottom to the top. And not only master those industries, but to be able to teach those industries to other people. So it was also a teaching school. That's what Tuskegee Institute was. Shout out to Dr. Taryn Wright. She wrote a book, Booker T. Washington and African, the making of a Pan-Africanist. Check it out, family. The discussions that I had with her on YouTube. Check those out. But that's who I heard, Q. I heard Booker T. I heard Garvey when you were talking. You know who else I heard who's still with us? Claude Anderson. When you were talking, I was hearing Powernomics, when you were talking. And see, this is how we need to be moving as a collective. We STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I always add the A. I always say art and agriculture, because I have, and even not just me, educators have determined that you can use art as a means to teach. It can be used as a teaching tool, and it can be also used as a tool to stimulate creativity. So I always throw that A in there. But we can use STEAM, right, as a means to empower in our community. And someone else said in the chat, they said, well, wait a minute, Doc and Q, what about our healers? We're all suffering from psychological trauma because of the Ma'afa, because of what they've done to us in this country. So what about our healers? Yeah, healers are definitely important. Our healers, even Q mentioned business people. So we didn't just say STEAM and STEAM alone, right? So of course we need our healers. Of course we need our psychologists. Of course we need folks like that. We need our agriculturalists. We need those folks. But I'm telling you right now, those folks that I'm talking about, the healers and the agriculturalists and all of them, I guarantee you they depend on science. I guarantee you right now in their house, Q, at the end of the day, they wouldn't be able to do what they do without science. Guarantee you, no matter how you spin it, and culture is extremely important. Us developing, practicing, and reinforcing and empowering culture is extremely imperative. When we talk about what will empower Black community, culture's there too. But guess what? There's a connection between STEM and culture. White folks don't believe so, Q. They think that it's a disconnect. But we have to understand that that when we create technology, right? Technology is created within the context of a culture. Also, technology also transmits culture. So there's a connection between STEM and culture, even though they try to pass everything off as objective. It's very objective. No, it's not, Q. Because when I open up a signal processing textbook or an electric circuits textbook, they start off with the history of Europeans, the contributions that the Europeans made to the field of electric circuits, the contributions that Europeans made to the field of signals and systems and signal systems and transformations. So let's not act like it's all objective. It's culture. There's a connection between all of this, culture and STEM. And so I just wanted to pull that out. So Q, I want to show a video. Thank you so much for showing
Now
us.
add to that real quick.
Go to that.
I was gonna say, I think one, our culture should be embedded in STEM. Our culture,
Absolutely.
Based on STEM. When we talk about culture, we talking about drums, STEM. We talking about the cooking food, STEM. I like to eat the corn at the events. I like the pots, the way what's the barrel bins that we do the cookouts on. All these different
Absolutely.
things are means of STEM. So I don't see it in any other way but STEM, and we try to push it as that the product of STEM is art. And I want people to understand that, like, when you understand and master STEM, you produce, and what you produce is going to be an art. Whether you're a doctor, you produce a means of doing a type of surgery and a technique. Like, there's a doctor who's on the ophthalmologist who comes on Sinetta's platform. He's an artist. He created a way and a path to handling, I forgot what part of the eye, issue in the eye, a very specific way, but they took it, that's an art. And so I see refined sciences as one of the highest forms of art that the world really depends on.
Mhm. It is. I mean, it is. It is art because it is art. And I would say that you say science, I would say engineering. Let me tell you why. They say that scientists, study the world as is. Engineers create the
That's a
world
fact.
we want to experience. So, but
Mhm.
I kind of knew what you meant when you said, because
That's why I
within,
try to say
yeah, within,
STEM.
no,
Yeah,
no,
that's not
no,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So within engineering, you have the scientists, right? Because I mean,
Mhm.
it's science and math, the application of science and
Facts.
math. But that's what they always say. Scientists study the world as is. Engineers, we create the world that we
Facts.
want to experience. So I want to show show off some of my students, some of their projects for a bit, Q. So here we go.
This semester, our design project for Dr. Bailey's electric circuit class, designed by Mr. Lewis, was the green energy power or alternating power system.
Ah.
My name is Godwin Ake.
My name is Scott Brees.
My name is Jordan Ford. Now, the principal objective of this system is to monitor two green energy power sources, indicate which is stronger, and utilize the greater energy system. We have three sections of the circuit: the monitoring energy circuit, the indication circuit A, and indication circuit B. The monitoring energy circuit consists of a comparator, the 7805 regulator, the MOSFET, and the magnetic relay switch. The comparator, as the name implies, compares the energy sources, energy levels of these power sources, the solar panel and the wind turbine, and outputs the bias voltage of the greater terminal. The relay is connected to the 5-volt output of the 7805 regulator, which is connected to the 10-volt power supply. It's connected as well to the drain pin of the MOSFET, connected to the solar panel at the normally closed pin, and connected to the turbine at the normally open pin. The MOSFET acts as a driver, which, when energized, it drains the voltage at the drain pin, making the potential difference of the switch 5 volts or greater than 5 volts, which switches it to the other power source. When the power source, when the system comes on at first, the solar panel is the greater terminal, and so the calm voltage at the switch is the voltage produced by the solar panel. However, when the wind turbine comes on and its voltage is greater than that of the solar panel, the calm voltage switches to the voltage produced by the turbine, and you will notice that by the clicking sound of the of the relay switch.
For the next part of the circuit, we have an indicator circuit A. We created an inverting op amp. Because the solar panel is placed in our negative or inverting terminal pin for our comparator, the output ideally, if the solar panel's voltage is higher, should be a negative 10. Because op amps absorb voltage, we got our output to be about negative 8. That negative 8 is taken for the VN for the inverting amplifier. The resistors we used were 3.3 kilo ohms for our RF and 6.8 for our RN. This is giving us a scale ratio of 0.5. That negative 8 is multiplied by 0.5 and then inverted to give us a positive 4 volts. The positive 4 volts lights the LED, thus indicating that the solar panel voltage is higher at that time.
Lastly, we have indicator circuit B, which comprises of the difference amplifier. Now, as the name implies, the difference amplifier takes the difference of the two input voltages and outputs a voltage, which is great enough to light up this LED. Now, this difference amplifier consists of the same 4 high-value resistors, and they are high value because op amps operate better with higher resistance. Now, the first input voltage is 5 volts, which comes from the voltage divider, which comes from our 10-volt power rail. The second input voltage comes from the voltage output of the comparator, which now enters the pin, the third pin. Now take the difference of those two voltages and you get 5, which is enough voltage to light up this LED, which here acts as our load. Now we have laid bare every facet of the circuit. Behold our demonstration.
Auto 1 degree, high up in the air, something like Pasadena. I see no.
Turn on the power supply, which is positive 10 and negative 10 volts, approximately. So as we said earlier, when the solar panel is turned on, the green light is indicating that the solar panel turns on. On the multimeter, the first multimeter measures the voltage of the turbine, but as you can see, 0.34 millivolts, which shows that the turbine is not on. This shows the voltage at the COM. And because the solar panel is turned on first, this is the voltage produced by the solar panel. And I can show you that if I put my hand on the solar panel, it drops down. You can. Now we want to turn off the wind turbine. So I don't know if you heard the clicking sound, but it has changed to red. And this is showing that the voltage coming from the turbine is greater than that of the solar panel. And the COM voltage is now 5.59, approximately 6. And that is the same with the voltage produced by the turbine.
Feeling like we are bound. Feeling like we are bound. Feeling like we are bound. Levitate, don't.
So anyway, this is
Fire.
thank you, Q. And I
Love
just
it.
want and I wanted to say, Q, this took a lot. Because people think that I could just go in there and just do something like this. These students who did this, who built this, these are students who took a couple of physics classes, right? They had to take physics 205, physics 206. So they took at least 2 physics classes, which both of which had labs. They took calculus 1, calculus 2. They were taking differential equations at the time of this class, and they took electric circuits. So this wasn't, you don't roll out of bed, right? And design something like this and produce it. Those devices that you saw on the breadboard, they were MOSFETs, they were transistors, they were op amps, and so you got to understand how these devices all work together and the math that governs these devices, the laws that govern these devices. So what's the equation for op amps? You get what I'm saying? What's the equation for resistors? How do we compute? So if we need a certain voltage at some point and we want, what can we do? How can we split the voltage coming from the power supply to provide the voltage at a specific point the way we want it? Oh, then we need to compute or formulate what's called a voltage divider so we can split the volt. So that's going to school to study, and that's why places like the Uhuru Academy, Ziax Institute, Freedom Home Academy. Someone said in the building, Nation House, because you got Nation House, you got Akabin House. So that's why these institutions are important. And Q, that's why I love how you're always calling. You say, Doc, what do you all need? What's going on at the university level so I can make sure that I'm preparing my students? So you already say, hey, we already working on a 1250 SAT score. What else do you need? I say, Q, I need them in calculus 1 before they leave. Cool. So you're going to make sure they get to calculus or that they go through calculus before they even get to the university. You know what I mean? And that's the type of stuff that we need to be doing in our community, making sure we're preparing our children for the next level. Our children are getting to the next level, Q, and they aren't successful. A lot of them aren't successful or met with success because they're not prepared. And it's not their fault. Somebody or somebodies failed them along the way, Q. And we have to make sure that we stop failing our children. We got to make sure that they are prepared. Some of my students told me, Q, they said, Doc, my parents told me to go to school to be an engineer, but they never prepared me to be one. So they're coming into the program with very weak, reading comprehension skills, listening comprehension skills, weak math skills. But that's because they weren't prepared, and we can't put the onus, Q, totally on the school system or the educational system. As parents, we got to be working with our children at home. And there are a lot of tools out there, Q, that will allow us to do that. So you got Alex, Khan Academy, like different tools that will help, IXL, right? Different tools that we can
Definitely
use
IXL.
to strengthen our children's, reading, writing, and even math skills. And so as parents, we gotta make sure we do that. Q, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's for me as an educator. I'm coming to the point, and my boy Robbins is here. He just walked. Actually, a parent standing right there, but he's one of the first volunteers that really helped me with the institute, and he's a 20-year or 15-year, 20-year AP literature teacher in California.
Beautiful.
And he made me know I wasn't crazy, but he's on point with his stuff. But he always when we developed the portfolio perspective, I want parents to know the onus is still on you, no matter how you look at the world.
Come on.
Like I have a parent, and he literally said he's gonna make it his schedule every Friday at 6:30 to call me and check on what his children are doing.
That's right.
Not only do they damn near pretty much pay full price, and I want to put this out there, they pay full price. Their kids do not miss a day. They have all the STEM kits, materials, cameras, everything they need, and they call every Friday. And we also have parents who cannot afford it and do the same thing. It's the parents in between that don't understand it, and that's the part that makes what I'm doing and other educators really a challenge, because it's a family. Like I tell her, look, if you need one of these kids, tell your daughter to do it. Beat them in it. Get angry because they didn't make something this weekend. All the moms that my wife just walked. I said, baby, I need you to get up. And I was like, look, baby, we need to plan, because we get upset for different things. I kind of only really get upset for education, unless they just like lying. Everything else, I'm like, whatever. Wife gets upset for different things. I was like, baby, I need you to get upset one time because Jalil didn't make this. Like if he's up late at the house, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we parents got to communicate, so we all on the same page. So that way the children are seeing a clear understanding, like, oh no, we got to go. She finds all types of programs. Hit up Dr.maat. Hit up whoever you can link that's going to introduce your children to these fields. It is not a joke. But make sure they're pro-Black, conscientious, and about the movement. That's why you keep hearing about Baba Amen. You see what I mean? Marcus Klein, Baba Baruti. Yeah, certain names getting thrown around because you want to make sure that they're learning from a certain perspective. And when I say certain perspective, that is from an African-centered, Black empowerment, Black nation building, nationhood, whatever you want to call it, first. And I put a lot of pride because this year we actually expanded our curriculum to STEM and social justice base. And I'll talk about that in a little while because there's something we want. We just don't want to be making these great minds and putting them out there as just ready,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely. We have I actually pitched a class at Morgan called Engineering and Social Justice. Right at Morgan. You get what I'm saying? Then I got another class I pitched called Afrocentric Engineering. So absolutely, we can't disconnect that, right? Like we can't complain about racism and white supremacy and then send our greatest minds to work for companies that produce the technology to maintain it, right? To maintain racism and white supremacy, to maintain U.S. imperialism. We can't do that. So Flat Earth asks, he said, Dr. Maat.MSU Butter, what's your position on steering more young people into trades, small repair, solar, and wind techs? I'm all for it, Flat Earth Society. Right. I'm all right. Right. Just literally the video. Like, I'm all for that. Like I'm not saying that like going to college is the end all be all, right? I'm not saying that. But there's some folks, like the heartbeat of the program, the heartbeat of our school, his name is Mr. Lewis. He's a technician. He went to school, and he became an electrician. Okay. And he's a tech for the school. And he's phenomenal. I would say that he would give the professors a run for their money in terms of hands-on and building things. You get what I'm saying? And creating things. So I'm absolutely all for pushing young people, into, trades, like electrician and all of that stuff. I'm all for it. What's your position, Q?
Exactly what you said. Like what she just showed on the screen. That's like we're doing this weekend. We're supposed to be doing this weekend. This $18 a do-it-yourself soldering project to make your own Bluetooth speakers. You know what I'm saying? Buy 2 of them, mess up, learn how to do it, have your soldering kit. Everything you just saw on the screen is to put the children not just into the trades, but into the creative position of the trades, where you can, and that's where engineering, you have to solve problems.
Come on.
You got to be able to look for the world and say, I want to present me with this situation and let me solve it for you. All right, you have a factory that's this big and you need to be able to get the printed material from the cars from this side of from this side to the motors on this side to the technicians on this side. All right, what kind of conveyor belt system are you going to put? What kind of robotic arms? Where are you going to put the arms at? How are you going to create the workflow for that? That's the type of minds we're talking about creating.
Absolutely. And I love how you said we have to create the minds. Dr. Amos Wilson said, I told you when you say certain things, Q, I hear the folks. Dr. Amos Wilson talked about that. He said, if we want to, he said, if we want to change the mindset of the youth, right, we got to control the institutions that are conditioned the mind. So like you said, we have to create the minds. And what I've noticed about Black folks is we've relinquished that responsibility, right, to white folks. So we just send white folks off to school. And I keep telling people that when they think of school, they don't really understand what's happening. Somebody else is fashioning, right, molding and shaping the mind of your children. When you just say, I'm gonna send my child over here to school. So those different teachers that they come across, every day, day in, day out, they're actually spending more time with the teachers than they are you. I'm talking about in terms of, developing the mind.
Cognitive time. Quality cognitive time is usually spent more with the school.
Come on. Quality cognitive time. I love that. You said it's spent with the school. Absolutely. So then you wonder why your children grow up and they think and behave a certain type of way. And you say, well, where did they get that from? Well, they got that from the environment that you sent them to, for the past 12 or 13 years, for 8 hours a day. And so if we want to, if we want our children to be a certain type of way, then we have to make sure that we are the ones conditioning their minds. So someone asked a question, how old were the students in the video? Probably about 20. They're probably about 20 years old. We're looking at probably sophomore level students, so roughly about 20 years old, to answer your question. Also, Q wanted to show them this, and I'm not going to hold you long. We're getting ready.
Now you good, sis? I'm enjoying this.
Yeah. This is what I showed the other day.
Hold 1 second. Let me just step right quick.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the slide that I showed on his platform the other day. The top 10 skills, it says needed for 2020, but we can apply this easily to 2023. Problem solving, complex problem solving skills, right? Does your children, and let me mute him out because I hear a bunch of background guys. Does your children possess complex problem solving skills? Do they? And if I were you as a parent, I would put things in front of them like Scrabble, Scrabble, chess, right? Chess, Scrabble, to start cultivating those, analytical, evaluative, and problem solving skills. Puzzles. Oh, puzzles are great. Puzzles, chess, Scrabble. I'm trying to think what else. Crossword puzzles, word searches, stuff like that. Okay. Math, definitely. Okay. Word problems. Okay. Critical thinking. So, all of the things that I just named, I mean, in order to foster those critical thinking skills, I will put that stuff in front of them. Creativity. Creativity. Instead of them on the game, right? Or on TikTok, doing all that goofy stuff, you know, put something in front of them that is going to allow them to create a coloring book. Have them color, right? Have them build something. Get them some Legos and tell them you want them to produce a bridge, or like you said, a house out of popsicle sticks. Okay? Create something that's going to foster their creativity. It says people management. That's another skill that's needed. It says being able to coordinate with others, emotional intelligence, decision making and judgment, service orientation, negotiation, and cognitive flexibility. So these are the top skills needed for 2020. Now, in terms of being an electrical engineer, oh, this says top engineer. I'll go through the top engineer. So to be a top engineer, they said creative thinking. Yeah, we create stuff. Creative thinking, computer modeling. Okay. Computer modeling, attention to detail. Oh my goodness, as engineers, you got to pay attention to detail. We make a mistake, we could kill somebody. Can you imagine designing a circuit and look, you designing a circuit and all your calculations are wrong, and you put that circuit in a rocket that's supposed to go to space, or you put that circuit you put that circuit in a plane, right? That's going up, a certain, altitude. And so I'm telling you guys, gotta pay attention to detail. Can you imagine the engineers who designed the bridge, Q, and they, when it came to analyzing or evaluating the material and the different thing, just messed up on it, right? Didn't pay attention to detail. The bridge will fall, like, so engineers, we literally could kill people, right? I tell my students all the time. So we have to make sure that we operate with the highest of integrity when we are designing things and testing things and being honest about the results, being honest about our research findings, because we could take lives, and we have taken lives. Let's just be honest. It's a lot of incidents that I could talk about where it was just engineering went completely wrong. Somebody, didn't report the findings, or somebody who was underqualified claimed to be qualified, and in turns people died. It has happened. So we got to pay attention to detail. Also, high level mathematics. If you want your child in STEM, make sure that by the time they get out of high school, they've taken calc, they've taken physics, they've taken chemistry, they've taken biology. Okay, make sure that they have good communication skills, both verbal and written. Okay, leadership skills and teamwork skills. Okay, now in terms of being an electrical engineer, okay, the skills that are needed, please disregard the whole needed for a job and just focus on the skills. Focus on the skills. Critical thinking, definitely circuit design. And as I stated on your platform, Q, for circuit design and circuit analysis, you need strong algebraic skills. Strong algebraic skills. Namely, make sure that your students, if I give them one equation and one unknown, that they can solve for the unknown, right? If I give them a system of equations, two equations and two unknowns, three equations, three unknowns, that they can use the various methods, the elimination method, solving for one variable in terms of another, right? They can do that, or simply be able to use a daggone, I would rather them use their minds, but at least use some software that'll be able to solve for those unknowns, right?
Oh, they need to know how to graph, substitution, and elimination. They need to know that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Instrumentation and electrical measurements. So can they power up, the multimeter, and measure resistance, measure current, measure voltage? So are they familiar with the instrumentation? Active learning, interpersonal communication, organizational skills, complex problem solving, mathematics and physics, innovative thinking, and programming languages. I think you talked about coding on your platform the other day, Q. So introducing them, exposing them to Python, C, C++, Java, Perl. Okay, so making sure that they are familiar with programming languages, guys. So this is the stuff. This is the blueprint, that we've laid out for you. So Q, I do want to say this though. When we were talking about STEM and culture being connected, I started thinking about Wakanda, right? Like Black Panther, and how, in my opinion, Black Panther was a great example, Q, of how we were still centered in our culture, still rooted in our culture. But look at how Wakanda, they were STEM focused society,
Hmm.
but they still wore their African attire, their African. I almost feel like sometimes people feel live in
You
the
cut
same
out.
space. Oh, can you?
Say it
Am I
again.
back? Am I back, you?
Yeah, you back.
Okay. I was saying that sometimes people, like, I think that people feel like we have to choose, like being African centered can't live in the same space as being, a STEM person. And it can. And when I was thinking about, even though it's a fictional movie, Wakanda, but I love how they showed how culture and STEM can live in the same space. You get what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted to bring that up. But Q, there was a point that you wanted to make earlier. You kept saying, I want to get into that a little later. Do you remember what that was?
No, you actually segued perfectly into it, and how we approach the sciences. I'll tangent into it both ways, in the sense, um, and I love teaching social studies. I don't get to teach it all the time. But what I always bring up with our curriculum with social studies, we analyze engineering, and I always talk about the influence that engineering had on society. And when Robbins and I first linked up, one of the first things he heard me say was that math is language
It is.
and is syntax, and there is no language without math. Like, you can't even describe language without math, without computations, without descriptive analytical aspects of language. There is no purpose with, you would just be having qualitative descript conversations, but quantitative aspects of language make the world make sense. Is one of the first things we actually look for. Typically I want to say quantitative, information is how far is that, how long is the day, how much more do we need. Like, all of these words are mathematical words that Africans were the first to use.
Come
We
on.
were the
Let's talk
first
about it.
the first to measure. To measure is to be human, but we can also say to measure is African. Like, we were the first to measure, and to set off this whole culture of measurement and refinement of measurement and tooling for measurement. That's
Mm,
our culture, and embracing the benefits of these things shouldn't be seen as pseudo, or shouldn't be seen as white. When we look at the industries and how other countries look at the sciences to protect their industries and their culture, I love, and I know you'll like this. Is and I'm not versed. I'm an audio engineer, and I that's what I did for 20 years. So that's the only thing I can say, like in my sleep. And I went to school for astrophysics, and I love astronomy and engineering. But I'm a student. So what I'll say here with electrical, um, what I like about what I saw in the Chinese curriculums, they
mm.
don't refer, they don't use the word volt, they don't use the word ohm, they don't say what's some of the other words that are actually white people's words. They refer to it as like electromotive force. They're like resistance. They're not or a measurement of like, they very specific to the science, and they're trying to remove the white nomenclature out. And I
I
always tell
love
my
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
mhm.
I love it.
And so for us, like when I hear flat earthers or people that have a resentment against science, I often tell them it's because of the imagery and the nomenclature that you have an issue with. Most of the periodic table is named after Greek gods and things like
Come
that.
on. Or the
You know,
laws, or the
the
laws,
laws,
the Pythagorean
the
theorem.
so it's like, it becomes whack. And so that's why us as educators on the front line, we got to remove that out. We don't even say Pythagoras theorem. There's no reason to refer. I'll call it Imhotep's theorem. Just for fun, or I don't. We don't have it. We don't. The Goldilocks. When they say the Goldilocks zone, like that is just imagine a little black girl hearing somebody say that the most habitable space in the in the solar system is the Goldilocks zone. No, this is how you make somebody. You're already calling all of the stars white Greek gods. You know what I'm saying? Like, like this is not. We have to recognize that and say, hold on, this is how they introduce racism. These are the tools for them to empower their community, because as a white person, if a white person hears ohms and Pythagoras theorem and Jupiter, they're gonna look up and say, yes, that's my history.
That's
And then
right.
we not sitting up. There's a white boy online I follow, and he made the aliens robot, and there's a video he got when he first started it, and it humbled that. I ain't gonna lie, it humbled the hell out of me. I gotta do an engineering. I gotta do a. He had Einstein, Newton, Tesla, and Robert Downey Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Robert Downey Jr. represented Iron Man. But I'm just thinking like what that would feel like for a white boy seeing these people as the imagery of genius. When you say genius, you say Einstein, you say Newton. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
when you think
nobody
of
say
comic books,
Emotep.
right? With the real, and we forgot the real McCoys, we forgot the heart. There's a lot of us
Yeah,
that
Elijah McCoy.
you
Oh
know.
my
It,
God, Jesse Russell. Come on.
so it's like we got to put that in the air and make that well known that this is the purpose. And so with social justice, I've been struggling before this year to figure out how to teach African studies and embed it in our curriculum, because it was part of social studies, and they didn't really have a place in the social studies curriculum because it's African studies. It's African studies. It's just it's history, but it's not. It's beyond the scope of the social studies curriculum. And so it was hard for me to figure out how to do it. Sister Irene Yvette, we've been trying, even Buddha, we was trying for years. Like we used to call it political theory, but it didn't work right. So then when I saw how they were teaching social justice, it completely pissed me off. Have you seen the national standards for social justice?
No.
Oh my goodness, sister. Yo. Now I'm going to be biased and say that social justice in America is largely Black people's conversation, Native Indians, women. Those are like the three people that, if you ask me, who historically have been the people that have been the face, and nobody more than Black people. Nobody more than Black people have been the face of injustice and the need for social systems centered around creating justice for us. And that's so damn. Hold on. Oh damn, so so recognizing these systems. He just caught me off guard. That was my boy, so whatever. He just caught me off guard with that one. But that completely threw me off guard. I'm sorry.
No, you were just saying no. You were saying that
Shout out to Zoe.
basically you were saying that the face, we've been the face of it, and you were saying that Black folks are in need of like social systems. You was like no other group
Yes,
of
I'm
people.
sorry. Yes, I
Yeah,
got
you
it.
said
Yes.
no other group of people.
So when you look at this actual social justice curriculum, it starts off with identity. It has identity, gender,
Oh Lord, I see what
recognizing and identifying a person's identity. It's all almost identity politics. It has nothing to
Oh
do.
my gosh.
Like if I pull it up right, it's so disrespectful. It was written by, I believe, two lesbian white women, and
Well,
they
that makes sense. That makes sense now.
and it completely co-opted social justice. So it pissed me off, and so it made me look at how to teach the curriculum different. Shout out to Jabari, and I was hearing him yesterday on Sinai's platform going on the Blacks and Africans who were fighting during the diaspora. And shout out to my teacher in BMCC, Nicholas D. Ofiaja, who so happy I had his class 20 years ago. I'm so happy I had the teachers I had back then. Because I think I had the last generation of real teachers and old school teachers. I think we probably had the last generation of those teachers from the 60s and 70s that didn't have no computers. Everything was in here. Like everything was in there. And so when I was developing the curriculum, I was like, all right, social justice for black people is based off of the people who were doing injustice to us. And so, how could we effectively get justice in our community if we don't know the history of injustice that has been done to us?
That's a fact.
And that set off the curriculum where it's for us, the social justice component is literally centered around atonement, reparations, restoration, getting our stuff back, and making sure people understand why black people have to be racist. And I know it sounds like people, I'm like, no, we need to be focused on us, exclusively focused on us
But
and everyone.
I don't think that's racist though, Q.
I
I don't think that focusing on your race is racist. And when I say that, I'm going by the definition of Dr. Amos Wilson. You know, when he talked about it being a structural relationship when you're at the top, some people I don't I don't think that that's necessarily, like I said, racist to say we need to focus on us. You know, we need to be more exclusive. I wouldn't call it racist. Now, what white folks have been doing, focusing on themselves while trying to oppress other people, dominate other people, exterminate other people, that's racist. But I think that us shifting the focus from everybody else to us focusing on us, I don't think it's racist, Q. I think that it's just what they say, the first law of preservation. What is it called?
Mhm,
The law of
mhm.
preservation. It's just,
Take care of yourself.
take care of ourselves. We got to take care of ourselves first. And this is not to say that, we're going to go out here and oppress other people or try to destroy other people. We just need to, focus on ourselves. And I agree with Koji Chagalia. That's just race first. It's not
Mhm.
racist. It's just race first.
No, I definitely I embrace the marketing of it. I embrace the power of it where it's like, look, I'm gonna put black applications first. I'm putting black dollars first. If there's a hospital, it's for black people.
That's right.
It's just, and that's, it really is just race first. It's just simple as that. But I,
Absolutely.
I feel like we need to hear it. This is part of my my little social science side of it, where it's like, we need to hear because we're so scared, like, especially in New York, we're scared. Like, you got black, no, you can't say for black. I'm like, we in the middle of the projects, and you can't say for black people. You worried about that one white girl that live on the 15th floor? Yo, y'all sound scared. Like, and so for me, I'm like, I like when I tell people black only, they be like, is that racist? Like, yeah, whatever you want to call it, bro. This is for us. I don't care. I don't care if you see. I don't care if I got money hanging out my pocket, diamonds. And we got everybody. You see Dr. Maat with the super mink coat on. She got science kits like this. All the kids got science kits. We got other black kids to give them to. I'm sorry, I can't afford to give this to a little Indian kid, a little white kid, a little Spanish. No, this is for black kids. This is only. When
Right.
my first, last, and only breath is for black folk.
That's it.
Oh, and I can be I'm very respectful. I can smile,
Like,
chill,
yeah,
but
absolutely. Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
but
Because
I
you just
agree with you, like you said. I think us, and for me, I like to embrace it like that because white people, like I found when I did a video talking about Jewish involvement in slavery and the concept of anti-Semitism,
I think
and
that went viral. I think that you talking about the
yeah,
one that was on IG. Yeah,
yeah.
that joint went viral.
And
I
everybody was
remember.
like, yo, you're gonna get in trouble. I'm like, bro, you don't get in trouble when you speak facts. Like, these are quotable facts. Like, these are not, it's not even my opinion.
Mm.
It's like, and we should be in a space where we can embrace. Imagine if Kanye West was your student.
Oh
He would have
my
already
God.
understood vertical integration. He wouldn't have married a white woman, and he would have been up there being able to articulate clearly, like, no, hold on. Y'all clearly wasn't involved in slavery.
Absolutely.
You clearly was involved in this. You clearly benefited from this. And he would be able to argue. And that's what our social justice curriculum is showing children how to argue, how to look at these conversations, and making sure they understand it to protect our STEM. Because if we don't have a black mind that's centered on us, we'll get taken apart in these scientific fields. Chewed up.
Absolutely.
Chewed up.
Absolutely.
My father's an inventor. He produced a method of producing 3D sound. And he and I had debates over how the patent should be handled. And he has dementia now. And I remember years ago, he said, Q, I'm going to die a black man with my patent. I don't care if I don't make a dollar with it. I don't give a damn. These white folks ain't getting my patent. And I had to respect that. And there's a lot of pieces of that conversation that going, but that was something that was really ingrained in my life. We're hearing and impactful saying like, yo, we have to put respect on our sciences, and we have to put the sciences in the right focus and perspective in our community. And it's been over here. It's like you can go back. Shout out to all the Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X's, and everybody, but no, if the conversation, science needs to be right here.
Absolutely.
Right here. How do we feed the black community? Science. How do we empower our community? Science. You want to print more Bibles? Science. You want to print more Quran? All of that starts right here. We want our publishing press. What kind of ink we gonna get? Who we gonna get the ink from? How we gonna contain the ink? Where we gonna put the paper from? All of those are scientific questions that are gonna be answered by engineers and people that want to get profit off of what they're producing. And if we'd have people who are seeking profit but aren't aligned with the community and understand the detrimental history and the atrocities that this community of whites and all these people have done to us, they're just gonna make money and go off to the world and just worry about making money and dancing with white girls on beaches. They're not gonna
Facts.
understand. No, I got to make this money so I can empower my people. And when they hear the energy in your voice, like, yo, why you go so hard? Because I'm putting on for my people.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm rich, but I got to put on for my people. And we need to know that this next 2024, 2023 generation, we got 10,000 motivated children like that.
I agree. And
20,000.
so, no, I
My
agree,
bad.
Q. No, I agree. And I love the passion. I'm digging the information and the passion. But Q, I do want to close out, but I want you to talk about the science fair right now. But let's close us out with the science fair.
May 23rd, Restoration Plaza, historic Restoration Plaza, Best Eye, 1369 Fulton Street. I believe the address is May 13th, 2 p.m. Early registration. Registration is going on now. I'm asking everybody, try to connect the sciences and focus on mechanical, electrical engineering with some coding. Let's show the world that we can compete in this arena. You know, nothing against anything else. With like make a robotic microscope from scratch. Make an Arduino microscope and program that from scratch. Make a drone blow dryer. You see what I mean? Make this steam engine power your Arduino. This can produce, two of these can produce 5 volts. So you could have this power of Arduino circuit. Let's show the world we can compete. Make remote control cars and also have it connected with your hands or your phone and show them that you made that. Let the world know we are smart as shit. Excuse
Come
my
on.
cursing.
Come on.
Let the world know. So that's why I'm like, connect the sciences and be on point. Parents and people that want to donate and support, please go out there and support what we have going on. I want to give these students, all participants have to go home with something. Soldering kits, money, laptops, tools, kits like this.
I like that though. I like the idea, Q, of sending them home with some kits. Because people always give out like the tablets and stuff but like you said, sending them home with something that they can play around with. I like that whole concept,
Yep.
Q. I really do.
Mad kits. We want to send them on with it. But all these kits, everyone participate should have these. And a soldering iron, a microscope for soldering, the microscope for biological sciences. Yeah, we need, and this ain't a lot of bread. This is easy, but Robert Smith, I hope you listening. We hunting. We need you, Robert Smith, man. If you haven't listened to that engineer, his documentary on his interview on what's the money channel? The brothers that talk about money all the time.
I don't know.
Business.
I don't know. Q, you probably know before me.
But yeah, check out the Robert Smith. He was on the brothers who talk about business and money all the time. Money and leisure. I think Earn Your Leisure. Earn Your Leisure. Yeah, Robert Smith was on Earn Your Leisure. You should have your students watch that. And the whole conversation was about engineering, how he went from these different industries in engineering, how he figured out what to invest in from an engineering perspective, how he got introduced to big business just because he was so smart and people loved how smart he was, and how his family ingrained a sense of being pro-black, and he always thought about connecting his community, and how he has a plan to empower the black community through science. And he's the richest black man in American history. Right now.
Wow. Well, brother Q, I want to answer this last question and then I'll let you go. Koji Chagalia. He said reverse engineering electronics is the key that unlocks. Absolutely. That's how the Chinese came up. Remember, they took products that we were producing over here, reverse engineered it, found out how they work, started producing the stuff, and then selling it back to the U.S. That's how they got on
Mm-hmm.
through reverse engineering.
That's what this is for. This is why I'm doing. I wanted to show my children that this is what you could do with the popsicle sticks. They can go from this to Tinkercad. I showed them these gears. It's $9 for these to make it with the popsicle sticks. I said by the end of this quarter, you won't need this. You just need to buy plastic for your printer. Print it out yourself, and now you can make your own sewing machine. You can't get more powerful. Please hit up Dr. Maat. Hit us one of us up, Baba Amin, Baba Ruti. Get your child in a Black institute. Don't have to be mine. And if you can't get him out the school system, get him in a supplemental program. She got summer programs. We all got STEM programs. We should probably put together a calendar so maybe you could participate in all of our STEM programs. You know what I mean? Like you could be in you could be a Baba Amin's on 2 days. You could be in Dr. Mayat's. You could be about his Klein's. You could be in mine. Like that, your child's brain will be like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And no summer breaks. Let me say that right now. Parents in my institute, stop telling these kids they have the summer off. Take the summer to get ahead. That's what the summer is for. It's not to be off. Get ahead.
Say that one more time.
The summer is not to be taking off. It's to get ahead. I have several of my oldest students. They would have been done high school. They are still in my program, and some of them are transferred out. And I told them, Robbins was there. Focus on your SAT all summer. All summer, and you'll be done with this. I want to get a job at Foot Locker. If you're a parent who thinks having your child work at a bum ass Foot Locker at 17 years old,
come on,
it is only taken away from their position and power if later on. You're putting them around adults who didn't get to go that far. I'm just being honest with you.
Come on, be real.
You know what I'm saying? Put them in her program. Put them around students who are going to be competing at this level. We don't want to deal with people that's going to be separating shopping carts. I tell my students that you could be the separating shopping carts or you could be designing the robots that make them for Walmart.
Come on, Ashe. Q, I'm getting ready to play your song for the outro. You said the video is dropping.
Yep, Monday
on your channel, Q
yes.
Butter.
I want to say, let's say the evening time. We should drop it in the evening. Yeah, probably like 7 o'clock. I'll drop.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm gonna post it Sunday. Hell yeah!
Tell folks where they can find you, Q.
Q Butter everywhere. QUE Butter BUTTER everywhere. XYAYX. That's a Black word. We made that word up. XYAYX. That's our word. So you can type that in anywhere. Zyx Studios, Zyx the Movement, the Zyx Institute. Wherever you want to find it, we're everywhere.
Hey, Q, what's up with the merch? I see the hat. Do you have on a hoodie right now?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Got to have a hoodie too.
Q, wear my and purple my color. Purple's my color.
I can go with the royal color all year.
Come on, that's my color, Q. You got to send me a hoodie so I can rep.
I gotta make it happen. I got a lot of IOUs, so I'm scared to say it publicly. Because the machine is sitting right there looking at me like, so you about to make a sweater for her, huh? Because you got a lot of people waiting for a sweater. The machine you see the press right here. Look, the press right here with some dust on it. Like, you got a couple of sweaters you supposed to make for people.
I need the one you rocking. I'm digging that purple. I'm digging that purple. Even if you just did purple right there. Even if you just did a royal purple hoodie with the black, with the black Zyx on it, that'll be hot too. So however you want to do it, man. But thank you so much, Q, for coming past. What's the website? What's the website for the science fair again?
Zyx XYAYX themovement.org, and just go to programs and hit the science fair.
There it is, Q. So May the 13th. Let's make it happen.
Black Power. Appreciate you, sis.
Black Power. Appreciate you.
Run that up, Rico.
Man, that was fire. Family, take a moment out to thumb up the video. Share the video. Also, family, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you will be notified. And join me on Sunday at 7 p.m. for the Read Book Club.
Caution, wait, please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait. Please do not play with my mind, hey. I do not play with my life, wait. I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, look at my face, pay me respect. Please do not play with my line. If you want taste, what you gon' get? Shit that gon' bury your mind. All that's at stake, where is my check? Need every nickel and dime. You play with my race, put you in check. But stopping the vision and climb. They mad that these niggas done woke up and now all our visions to go. Where is the bag to get us so caught up? Yeah, that is the mission and goal. Staying on cold. Some of y'all doing too much. Straight up be looking like hoes. Never gon' grow. Can't count on you in clutch. Most of y'all doing the most. Like this is a show. Doing it for entertainment. Or you're doing it for down. Or you're doing it to sit at the table with crackers for words in your mouth. I don't play with enslavement. These are the days of the South. These days we play differently. This is what black empowerment's about. I said there's no time for no friends. Either you with us against us, don't switch it, cause one of us die in the end. Hey, I'm keeping my eye on the lens. Watching the ops despising the picture cause they wanna see the one end. Hey, caution, wait. Please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait. Please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my lines. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Hold on, wait. See a black man doing great with black-owned businesses, building in a different state. Why you snakes wait late in the grass, plotting on what you can take? Black money in the black bank, mean black money is safe, protected, like it's heavily protected. If he ever feels threatened, he go a lead and knock him off his check. Check this. For the record, he can never be weak. Disrespecting any checking your cheek. Rep your city, reppin' red, black, and green. Never fall, won't quit. There's no limit to what I do for mine. But you sort of don't take them up with the anger and hate up all of my assets combined. You wanna get one time? I keep it fully loaded, extended in a fully auto effing to keep you from crossing that gun line. You in violation. I ain't never shot a caveman. You be the first, I'ma give you this work. You get in the way of my occupation, yeah. Like I'm the boss and I don't like the way that you talking. This is my office, get permission before you walk in. The yellow tape across the door is
Caution, wait. Please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution, wait. Please do not play with my mind. Hey, I do not play with my life. Wait, I keep protection for mine. You will not touch what is mine. I do not play with my shine. Caution.
Uhuru, Sasa.